Young color cooking up the sauce.
What's up, YouTubers? I'm back again with another video. I know I've been like MIA, but I've been doing that sometimes. So to hop back in this mix and let y'all in the mix, if I didn't see the title, I got Stalker. Not really Stalker, but like Stalker. So let's get into that so I can explain to you guys the story of how that went down and what's going on with that. Alright, so taking it back to like about a year ago when I started working at Amazon, I was in the same department as he was at the time, and I had the same shift, like the same days. The group of friends that I knew, he like knew them too, so like they would talk to him, you know. But so we're gonna call him Joe. Haha, y'all ever seen You? That's what he reminded me of. But so we're gonna call him Joe, okay? So Joe and I weren't necessarily in the same group because I was closer to the group than he was. He kind of just talked to them at work, you know, but I would hang out with them more. So obviously when I talked to them, he was kind of around them, so I would like acknowledge him. I wasn't rude, you know, so I'd acknowledge him. I'd say hi here and there, you know. It was just kind of thing. Joe is really creepy looking to start off with. He is like insanely tall, like insanely tall. He has a lot of illnesses where he has to be on like constant medication. Like I believe he has like multiple personality, like schizophrenia, like he has a lot of illnesses. So he kind of scared me, but like, you know, he talked to my friends, you know, one of them used to give him a ride home. I didn't want to be rude and just like not acknowledge him there, so I'd say hi, you know. I kept it like coworker like. Eventually he started talking to me a lot more. I didn't really think nothing of it because he didn't really talk to many people at work because he looked creepy. A lot of people didn't like talking to him. Sometimes I didn't like talking to him, but not because he was creepy, mainly because I just don't like socializing, you know. Like I'm just there to get through the day and then try and date, you know. I just don't like socializing if I don't know you like that. So eventually he started talking to me. He would like tell me stories about like his cooking and this and that, and it got to the point kind of where I was just kind of like, oh, cool story, bro, and then like, all right, I gotta go, you know. It was like stuff like that. So it was like slowly he started like kind of looking for me more around the warehouse. Like he was just always where I was, pretty much. Like he'd always come talk to me, like anywhere he saw me, he'd always stop me. It's kind of weird, I guess, at the time, but I didn't think much of it, you know, because I was like, hey, he doesn't talk to anyone, maybe he just wants to talk to somebody. So fast forward to like 6 months later, I have this friend that is in the group as well that I talk to, and we're gonna call him Franny. So Franny knew that Joe liked me. I knew Joe liked me, but I didn't say anything because Joe had like started kind of flirting in a way, but every time he did, I like shut him down, you know. Like I have a boyfriend, my whole friends know I have a boyfriend, they've all met him. Like I went into that job having a boyfriend, so obviously Joe knew I had a boyfriend. And then he started flirting and it was kind of like awkward, so I kind of stopped talking to him as much. And then I also did switch departments, not because of Joe, but just because I hated where I was at. So I switched departments, but I still intertwined with his department sometimes, so he would still see me. So there was this one time that kind of made me just cut it off. It was kind of like he kept flirting, but since he's like creepy, it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't cute, maybe because I have a boyfriend, I don't know what, but it was just like awkward where I was like, bro, let it go, you know. It was kind of like that. But one day we were leaving and there was this couple, well, I don't know, the guy was driving in to pick up the girl, and he had brought like flowers and chocolates and was like beso beso, like just showing off, kissing, you know, whatever. So me and my friends obviously were like not making fun of him, but you know, just relajo, you know, we were just like, oh, look at that, or like that must be nice, you know. And then I had thrown out a comment and I was like, I want my man to pick me up like that. And he was like, give me a chance and I could pick you up like that. And I was like, I just did the little okay, and then I walked away to my car. So then fast forward, I'm walking I don't remember where I was walking or what, but I was walking and he had caught up to me and he was like just conversating, you know, regular or whatever, because I hadn't talked to him for a while. And then he like says something about like, you know, I like you, right? And I was like, yeah, I kind of figured, but you know, I have a boyfriend, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. So then I just walked away. During that day, my job was kind of like, I have to go and take items to where his location was at, I guess you could say. So I pretty much go to his area, but I don't go specifically to him. But every time I was over there, he was always over there. And I don't mean in the area, I mean like right next to me, always trying to talk to me. Like, it was like my job is like constantly have to go over there and like take stuff to them. And he wanted to talk to me like every single time I was over there. Like even when I was just like dropping stuff off in a hurry and trying to dip back, he'd like just call me and like always be next to me. Like to the point where it's like we didn't have anything else to talk about because he's just a coworker. And then like he would just stand there. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going over there. So I told the other person to start taking stuff over there. So later that day, he runs into me again and he was like, so can I ask you a question? And I was like, yeah, go ahead, you know? And he was like, so do you really love your boyfriend? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, so do you mean what you say about him? And I was like, yeah. At this point in my head, it's like, bro, what the fuck? Who asked these questions, right? Like, I think the only one that's ever asked me these questions is like my grandma. Like, you know, she be trying to know everything. But he just kept going into these weird questions that are just like, do you see a future with him? Like, do you really want to be with him? And I was like, yeah. And I walked away. After that, I didn't talk to him at all. Like, at all. Like, if he was near, I'd walk past him. He'd call my name. I just kept walking. It was kind of rude like now, but I just needed him to get the hint that it was just weird. So, you guys remember my friend Franny? Franny talks to him. And, well, ow. So, Franny comes up to me one day and he's like, hey, Joe was asking about you the other day. And I was like, about what? And he was like, well, he was saying that, like, he thinks you don't talk to him or you don't want to talk to him anymore. I told him it was just in his head. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk to him. Like, Joe's weird, bro. Like, he just is weird. And he was like, why? Like, what happened? So then I tell him, like, you know, what he was asking me, how he, like, kind of came off on me. And he was like, yeah, Joe is kind of weird. He's like, I don't blame you. So I was like, okay. Yeah, so that's that. So that was it with Franny. Franny knew what was going on. The only other person that knew about all that stuff was my friend Brenda. She's like the only person that I'm kind of close to, like really close to at the job. But I'll talk to like outside of work. But so she was the only person that knew. And then I had stopped talking to him completely. Like it was like if I was around him, I wouldn't talk to him. Like if my friends were there and like since they associate with him, I talked to everybody besides him. It was kind of like he wasn't there for me. And he kind of got the hint and didn't talk to me anymore either. Couple months forward, I'd like to say like 2 months. Yeah, I think it was like about 2 months later. I started saying hi, but it was just like a normal hi. Because he would kind of start like look at me, like just stare. You know when someone's staring at you? It was like that. So like I see him staring at me and I'd be like, hi. You know, like, hey Joe, what's up Joe? Hey Joe, you know, just simple shit, just saying hi. But apparently that's why I fucked up, because nowadays you can't even be nice to people without them acting fucking weird. But yeah, it was just weird. And then from there on, it kind of just started going downhill. So after I started saying hi to him again, we didn't start conversating, we didn't start talking, it was just simply hi. And he had sent me a friend request a couple weeks later on Facebook, and I didn't answer it. It just kind of stayed there unanswered. And then like about 3-4 days later, he messaged me saying, it was something like, "Hi Lean, you look so beautiful in your profile, I wish I could see your face more," something like that. And I screenshot it and I sent it to my friend, because I was like, bro, what the fuck, who says this kind of stuff? You know, it's just shit, it's just the shit he says that's like, when have you ever heard anyone else say this? Like, where did you get these like compliments that you think they are from? And so I didn't acknowledge it. I didn't, like, you know how you could accept to read it or whatever. Like, yeah, I just left it there. I blocked him on my Facebook, and then that was it. My friend was like, kind of like, what the fuck, the same shit, you know. The next day at work I'm walking past the bathrooms, and he walks out, and he sees me, and he calls my name. I didn't hear him. He called my name again, and I was like, I'm just gonna be deaf and not hear anybody. And then he called my name 3 times at this point, and I couldn't really ignore him, because then everyone's gonna know that I did it on purpose. So I was like, yeah, what's up? And he was like, hey, did you see my Facebook message? And I was like, no, I don't really get on Facebook. And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I was just like, oh, okay. And then, what did he say? I don't even know what I said out. But the point was, I was like, no, I didn't see it, you know. Don't sweat it, I'll look at it. Don't sweat it, I'll look at it later or something. I walked away. I didn't even let him answer. So my department, I drive machines. So that's what my department is. It's mainly machine driving, okay? So like, you drive the machine to go pick up something from a certain area that it tells you to go pick up, and then you bring it back to the packers. He is the packer section. That's his department, okay? He packs stuff. I go pick it, pretty much like throw it into their section, and then they pack it and ship it out, you know? Okay. So we have this area called the library, because it literally looks like a library, you know? It's for the smaller items that we have. They're like stacked as if kind of they were like books, okay? And I remember they put me to pick in that area. So I was like, we have those shopping carts where we throw everything in to take them. So I was like driving around, you know, picking from the library whatever shit I needed to go hand out. And he was there, like picking as well. So I didn't really pay much attention to it, but like everywhere I turned, he was there. Like everywhere, every aisle I was in, he was there. And there's like a good amount of rows where it's like you wouldn't really run into people, especially now with like the whole social distancing thing going on. They coordinate it so people aren't really like next to each other. So it was just weird, and I started feeling like, I don't know, it was just weird. I felt like he was following me everywhere. So I went to my manager and I was like, hey, like, can you just move me out? I don't want to be down here. I don't feel good. And as soon as you say you don't feel good, they'll be like, yeah, because, you know, the whole Rona. So he moved me out. That was the end of that. And then it was like a week later, I believe. A week later, I'm doing my job, and I get a message, or a notification more likely, saying that Joe added me on Snapchat. So at that point, I'm like trying to think of where I have my Snapchat that he could see it, or where he could get it from. And I'm thinking Franny, but Franny wouldn't give it to him because Franny already knows he freaks me out. And then it hits me that it's Instagram. Instagram is the only place I have my Snapchat. The only place. So he must have my Instagram now to have my Snapchat. So I screenshot the notification and I sent it to my friend Brenda again. And I was like, hey bro, he added me on Snapchat, like he doesn't let it go. So then she meets me like somewhere in the warehouse, and we're like talking, and she was like, hey, you need to tell Chewy. Chewy is my friend. He's a guy. He's older than us, but he's someone that we're really close to as well. So we're like circle, we're always together at work. But I'm really close to him too. And she was like, you know, like, you should be careful because he is sick, you know, like he has a lot of stuff going on. And with everything going on about people missing, she's like, I don't want to take a chance with you. Like, she's like, just be careful and you should tell him. So at this point, it started getting in my head, and I was like, oh, like, you think he gonna kidnap me? And I kept saying that too, and I was like, bro, you really think he gonna kidnap me? And she was like, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying be careful, you know? And I was like, all right. So I go and tell my friend, and he was like, all right, I'll tell him tomorrow, because, you know, he came in the next day. I'm running out of breath. So because he comes in the next day, and he was like, so I go and tell my friend, and he's like, all right, I'll talk to him tomorrow because his shift starts the next day or whatever. And he was like, I'll tell him to just like leave you alone, you know, just kind of back off. And I was like, okay, thank you. That's all I want. Like, I just want him to leave me alone at this point, okay? So at this point, I start telling people more about what's going on, because as I said before, Brenda, my friend, was pretty much the only person that knew exactly what was going on with everything. Franny knew, but more from his side of the story, not really like what he was doing. So I tell my boyfriend, and my boyfriend's like, how come you didn't tell me this before? You know, pretty much just freaking out on me. So I was like, I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, I really didn't think until like now. So he was like, hey, I'm gonna log into your Snapchat and just see what's going on. I was like, okay, go ahead. So Joe had sent me a Snapchat, and my boyfriend answered it, and I believe he screenshot it and sent it to me, and he said something about like, I don't know, something like, hi, I made a Snapchat so I could see you because I feel like I don't see you enough. Something along those lines, where I was kind of like, bro, what the fuck? So I showed my friends that, and they were like, he made a Snapchat to see you? And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, he won't let it go. And then I guess my boyfriend was like, you know, like, leave Eileen alone. Like, you're not going to talk to her. Like, leave her alone. Like, I don't want you around her. And he was kind of like, Eileen's an amazing person. Like, I want to talk to Eileen. Like, I guess the whole argument was more like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Eileen. Like, where's Eileen? Like, I wasn't looking for you. You know, kind of like weird shit. So I'm telling my other friend, because I have this other name, Bree. She's the one that used to give him rides home, and I guess he had told her like his illnesses that he has and stuff, and she was telling me like to really be careful, because if he isn't on his medications, like, he could spaz out. Like, with everything that has going on, like, it's just, she was like, you really do need to be careful with him. And she was like, especially since he's driving now. And I was like, oh. So then, you know, my friend Chu was like, yeah, you're just gonna have to start parking by me in the morning. Like, I mean, we usually walk out together anyways, but like, he was like, just in the morning, park by me. Like, you know, we could walk in together. I'll wait for you or whatever. I'm really about to get kidnapped, aren't I? So they're like, no, but like, be careful. Yeah. So then all that went down. And then the next day, we're at work. And we walk past. It's me and Bree, and we're walking past, like, pretty much in the middle of the whole warehouse, because we're just talking. And we walked past him. So he saw me, but he didn't say anything. And then we were walking back, and he was kind of like following us. And then when Bree left me, I like turned around, like went around the whole warehouse and went back to Chewy, because I was literally scared. I was terrified. I was like, bro, he following me. So we turned around. I went to him, and then he was like, it's okay to stay with me. So I was like, all right, cool. So we're walking. I hear him call my name. I ignore it. I look at Chewy, and he shakes his head. And then he calls me again, and he shakes his head again. So then he calls me 3 times again. And then he was like, he turns around, and he like goes like that. And he just didn't call my name again. And then we're walking past and we meet up with Bree again, and Chewy's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And I was like, all right, you do that, I'm gonna stay here. So fast forward, he talks to him, comes back, and he's like, all right, I talked to him. He said that he was acting like your boyfriend freaked out on him. And I was like, well, he freaked me out. And he was like, yeah, that's why I told him, like, you know, what do you expect him to react? Like, the way that he was, like, kind of coming off on you, and, like, he wouldn't leave you alone. And he was, like, looking for you everywhere. And I was like, yeah. And then, like, I told him, like, you don't want to talk to him. Like, don't look for her. Don't call her. Don't talk to her. And if, like, she does want to talk to you, like, I'm going to be here. So this is where I got a little bit calmer, because my friend was like, you know, if you do talk to him or whatever, like, I'm going to be there. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, it's cool. He's cool. Okay. So he doesn't talk to me the rest of the day. Kind of like, not really ignores me, but like, we don't talk at all. And then, so then I believe I went home and I told my mother that I had a stalker. And she didn't believe me. Like, she really didn't believe that I had a stalker. And then I told her everything that happened. She was like, oh, yeah, you need to be careful. And I was like, thought I was kidding. And she was like, well, you're just a little mental sometimes, so, you know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you did get kidnapped. And I was like, that is tough. But she was like, you know, you need to be careful. You should tell HR, like, what's going on. And I was like, no, like, it's fine. Like, my friend already talked to him. Like, I'm always with them either way. Like, and I kid you not, I still go park next to my friend. I don't leave the car until I see his car. I don't get out of the warehouse. I see his warehouse till I see him. So yeah, we walk out together, pretty much walk in together. My car is literally right next to his. So after the next day at work, I'm coming outside and my mom's there. My mom and her boyfriend, and pretty much my brother and my siblings. So they're all outside next to my car, and I was like, what's wrong? And they were like, no, well, I was just like, you know, make sure you're okay. And then like my mom's like, because I know her boyfriend and he's pretty cool, like, we're good, you know. And she was like, I told, you know, my boyfriend what was going on with you. He said that he'll talk to him too, if you, like, just so they know, like, you're not alone type shit, you know, so like we know what's going on. And I was like, oh no, it's cool, like, you know, like, my friend already talked to him. He hasn't talked to me in like a couple days, well, the little 2 days that happened. And then I was like, yeah, I was like, I think it's fine. And then yeah, we just stayed talking there, and then more people started coming out of work, and I was like, all right, we gotta go. So overall, it was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a little scary. I was a little scared to get kidnapped first, still kind of am. I still be parking next to my friend, but I feel a lot more calmer now that, like, he kind of knows not to talk to me anymore. I don't really get put over there where he's at anymore. I don't really see him a lot, or if I do, I'm always next to my friend Chewy and Brenda. I swear we walk like in a pack, we're always together. But that was my story of how I got a stalker, literally just because I was being nice. Like, the one time I decided to be nice to people, I don't even like conversating, man. Alright, so that's pretty much the end of the video. Nothing's happened. I still haven't gotten kidnapped. Hopefully I won't get kidnapped. But as my mom always said, no se pendeja and pay more attention. I'm gonna give that advice to you guys. You know, there's a lot of shady shit going on in the world right now. So I hope you guys are all safe. And I hope you guys like and subscribe. And that's about it. I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to comment new ideas for videos, or what you didn't like about this video, or what you did like about this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.